Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with an afterword message for you. Now, I haven't done one of these in a little while, but this is basically just some additional information downloads that were channeled by way of me watching the last message, which was yesterday, July 9th, 2024. The thumbnail is titled Overdraft Fees. And that link will be in the description or the comments below if you'd like to reference it or watch it, whichever one. And this is, again, just some extra information that I feel is relevant to share. So receive it as you will. When I channel this way, I just write my notes purely, really kind of like freehandedly. And I'm just going to read it as is, nothing too extra about it, and it also won't be too long, which you probably can already tell by the timing on the video. So, without further ado, the energy of the message yesterday, 7/9/24, well, the leading energy was the Temperance card, and I liken that to Archangel Michael being present and being a bit of an enforcer of divine law and order in this present time. Judgment against spiritual cons, corruptors, and criminals, and justice for spiritual victims that have been proven to be vital contributors to creation. The Knight of Wands was also a significant energy, which signified an underdeveloped power and an ego-driven determination. The Knight in this case was in its detriment, which I see pillaging, that he basically pillages emotional energies for its spiritual essence, which we know directly impacts material manifestation. Your love energy, your emotional currency, your emotional wellness, all of that is force fuel for manifestation. Hence the concept of spiritual bank robbers, which was also the subtitle of yesterday's message. The primary targets are not limited to women and children with spiritual affluence, i.e. high vibing, loving, lucky, innocent, naive, empathic, just to name a few. Robbers heist as much energy as they can carry from what they can lift off of marks unsuspectingly or by what they willingly share or surrender. The malintent, though, is depletion unto bankruptcy, in spirit and or in truth, over time, gradually, if not in an instant. The motivation is a lust for the luxuries of love without the responsibility to earn and manage that medium. Check fraud was another concept that channeled through the message yesterday through a People's Court clip that I watched, and it kind of came up in the message. Making withdrawals without making deposits. So these robbers have advanced their tactics to enlist accomplices that ultimately become fall guys. Simply put, they prefer to be the brains of the operation while they manage and or manipulate others to do all of the dirty work. Similar to the People's Court case where the check thief had her friend deposit a check so that any potential legal backlash would affect the friend, but not her. The friend, who should have reserved better judgment, was left holding the bag, with the only recourse at that point being to sue the other friend, the thief, for her losses. And I'll also link, if I can find it, and I'm pretty sure I can, link a reference to this clip down below as well. So yeah, she had to sue the friend for her losses, but she almost didn't get she almost didn't get her win, because Judge Millian was not convinced that she didn't know that what she was doing that she was doing something shady in some way or another. If not for the defendant being such a malignant liar, claiming that they had agreed to split the money, meanwhile their text communication actually proved otherwise, the plaintiff may have actually lost that case. All this to say that immunity or even grace is not guaranteed when you put yourself in the position to be guilty by association, especially against your better judgment and integrity. This dynamic has played out in practical and mystical ways. Perps have heisted fortunes with other people's hands while they hid their own. But on a stranger than fiction level, those that dabble in the dark arts to manifest have used other human spirits as swords and shields, cloaks and daggers for their diabolical intentions. Some hire practitioners under false pretenses to forge favor and misfortune upon request. Some recruit friends, associates, even enemies of intended targets to aid their efforts. Some enlist perfect strangers to support their cause. Whatever will get the job done of taking possession of something or even someone that they have no entitlement to, so be it, with no regard for the cost or casualty to do so. The pawns in their game are disposable. Some don't even know they're being used or what they're actually being implicated in. The unfortunate part is that it may hardly matter in the eyes of the law in spirit and or in truth. Just as the plaintiff in the People's Court case barely won her case by the skin of her teeth, those that find themselves facing persecution and prosecution will be judged according to their deeds first and intentions second. Justice will be served. Balance must be restored above all. This is precisely what has provoked perpetrators to either be on the run or to impulsively take desperate measures to exonerate themselves. The number one method is to deflect guilt. Spiritual offenders are in over their heads in karmic debt, which adversely to their intentions has alchemized into physical debt. Fear, poverty, sickness, insecurity, imbalance, just to name a few. All of which perps would like to deflect onto conspiring partners or inflict upon innocent bystanders. Fortunately, however, unfortunately for them, the heightened sense of self and surrounding awareness makes once easy marks and targets less vulnerable to being victimized and more empowered to protect their assets, interests, and to abstain from foul or fraud. Let me say this again. Sorry. Fortunately, however, they don't like this part, but this is the truth. Fortunately, however, unfortunately for them, the heightened sense of self and surrounding awareness makes once easy marks and targets less vulnerable to being victimized and more empowered to protect their assets, interests, and to abstain from foul or fraud affiliations and associations. These robbers can no longer steal in stealth because the block is simply too hot. Their reserves are dwindling down to nothing as their expenses rise relentlessly. They don't have as much access to support or protection because that also comes at a great cost. They have extremely poor credit, in truth, as a result of broken promises and burnt bridges. And their spiritual credit is in the negative on account of the impending charges and the ones that they continue to rack up, still refusing to take accountability and responsibility for their actions, also known as refusing to repent, i.e., change. Again, here is where Archangel Michael, heavenly hosts, and angels and angel assemblies are activated by the charge of the supreme source of all to enforce what the divine decrees is fair for all. For those that have nothing to hide, there is nothing to fear. For those with a lot to hide and everything to fear, good luck and God bless. Thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.